Tax changes happen all the time, like the recent rollback on the retirement tax here in Michigan. But not all tax changes are good, and many experts warn of changes on the horizon that could significantly increase your tax bill, especially for those in or near retirement. Now, joining us to discuss is Taylor and Laurel Steward, the husband and wife team from Mattson Financial Services, a firm that's been helping people retire successfully right here in West Michigan for decades. You can also catch them on their popular radio show, Money Mentors. So, Taylor, Laurel, what should retirees be on the lookout for tax-wise?
All of it.
Yeah,
all
right.
All of the taxes, right?
My mind starts spinning, you know?
Yeah, it's really where do you start, and that can be kind of overwhelming if you're trying to go at this on your own, right? You know, I've got Social Security, now I find out that a portion of that's going to be taxed. I've got this pension, if you're lucky enough to have one, that's taxed. I've got my 401k, my non-qualified account, and there's all sorts of different taxes. And so how do we figure out what tax rate you're going to be in retirement? And that really comes down with getting that rock solid plan set up and planning ahead of time to make sure that we can control those and give you all the income you need and manage those taxes.
Yeah. And I think too with that we're talking about, you know, you have your traditional tax that you pay that counts as your income and things like that, but also if you want to expand on the Medicare side of tax too, we do some careful planning there. Yeah,
so when we look, that's another thing, we're tossing in this Medicare tax bracket, so to speak, and you know, once you start making over, I'm just going to say, let's just say it's $98,000, it's close. Then your Medicare premiums jump up $100, and so for every level, it basically goes up another $100 or so there on after. And so if we're not careful, you know, we're paying more in taxes to the Fed and to the state, but now we're paying more in our Medicare premiums, and it's like, holy cow, it's coming at us from all angles.
Yeah, and I think that most people are kind of like me. They think about taxes one time of year during tax season.
Right.
So why is it so important for people to be thinking about this all year long?
Yeah, I think the main thing, you know, the main takeaway is like if you're not in your 70s yet, and you're not dealing with your required minimum distributions, there's a bill that's coming due. So a lot of times we have a lot of great workers here locally who've saved in their 401k, which is awesome. However, that's all pre-tax. Yeah. So the moment you start taking from those accounts, it's going to be taxed, you know, 12% federal, maybe even 22%, plus your 4.25% state of Michigan. And so if we now look at that and let's say you don't even need to take from yours because you have a pension, you have Social Security, well, come time when you're 73 and those required minimum distributions start, now you have to take more income, you don't need it, but you're gonna pay the tax on it, and now you're gonna go into a higher tax bracket. You could jump from that 12 to 22. Oh my gosh. So we wanna look ahead and say, okay, do we envision there being a tax bomb when we sit down with you? What do we need to do in the meantime is start taking advantage of the low tax brackets right now, filling those buckets up if it makes sense, working with your CPA to start getting non-qualified dollars, Roth dollars that are tax-free, and then your traditional that are pre-tax. So we just have that diversification amongst your types.
Sure. Okay. And so somebody though, if they're concerned right now, they have their money they're saving in a high tax account, what options do they have?
Starting to plan ahead and looking for things like Roth conversions, or maybe looking at your income bracket this year and saying, hey, I can back my 401k contribution down by 6%, put that 6% into the Roth, that additional 6% now that's taxed as income isn't going to put me into the next tax bracket. So we're not solving all of it, but we're starting that plan ahead of time, and then looking at, you know, once we get to that retirement stage, things like Roth conversions, pulling money out of the highly taxed, you know, IRAs and 401ks, converting it at a lower tax rate for future tax-free income. And then there's other things that we need to look at too, which is how tax efficient are the investments that you have within that. If it's within an IRA, it really doesn't matter because any growth you have is all taxed, that ordinary income. But if you've got those non-qualified accounts, how can we make those tax strategies more passive but still provide you that income so we're not paying a high capital gains rate from year to year?
Okay, and so what other strategies are there for someone who is looking at retirement soon to really keep those taxes in check? That is, I mean, this is scary stuff when you think about it, to be, you know, have to deal with this and not have your, you know, your consistent income as someone who's working every time, right?
I think also a big concern to throw at this too is the fact that the stretch IRA is no longer here. So we have to then, when you have inherited funds or beneficiary funds, which we're seeing a lot of now, that you have to take those dollars within a 10-year period. So we have people, you know, who didn't necessarily expect to be receiving an inheritance. They're set in their plan. Now here comes funds from grandma, or actually, you know, maybe a child had passed away. We're dealing with that in a specific situation. So how do we look at carefully planning and making sure that we're keeping up with required minimum distributions, we're spending down the beneficiary IRAs over 10 years, maybe there's gifting you want to do to your kids and grandkids. So we layer all of this in. Every time we have a conversation, we're checking in and making sure, and then talking with the CPA as well to say, hey, this is what we're thinking. How does it look on your end too? Okay, great. Now we communicate with the client and we keep moving forward.
I love that, the constant communication with everyone. And you know, the word you just keep hearing, plan, plan,
yes.
plan, because that's really the only way you're going to be able to get the most out of your hard-earned savings. So talk to us about, you know, what people need to do as they're moving forward thinking about taxes.
So for the first 5 callers, you know, if you save $250,000 or more for retirement, your 401k, you know, IRAs, Roth IRAs, that type of thing, give our office a call. We'll sit down, do a complimentary review of where you're at, show you how we're going to get you to where you need to go, make sure that we're getting you into a plan that you feel is right for you,
yes.
of course, and that's all complimentary.
Ask questions. You know, that's what we're here for, is ask all those questions, bring it in. I love it when people have it written down, like, all right, let's go through it all.
Yeah,
Make sure you're
no
confident.
judgment. I love
yeah.
no judgment, right? Because no question's a dumb question, because I think this is such a confusing topic for so many people.
It is, and the changes continually happen. So it's like, hey, you figure one thing out, and then here comes a new one, right? So
especially
we're here for
with
you.
Taxes. Yes,
right.
absolutely.
I mean, your retirement plan, if we're being honest, is really never done, right? Because so many things are going to change.
Oh man, thank you both, Taylor, Laurel. We really appreciate it. And what a great offer for people, completely free. If you feel like you need help from the team at Mattson Financial, who doesn't, to get your very own plan, give them a call for that special offer. If you're retiring or if you're already retired, Taylor, Laurel, and the rest of the team, they'll sit down with you and customize that retirement plan. It is a comprehensive, enhanced plan that includes a look at your investments, your income sources, those taxes, and so much more to help you get through that retirement to get to what you deserve. Reserve one of the spots right now. Call 1-800-536-8907. It's 1-800-536-8907.